Today at this program, we are trying to portray all the news in Iran in English language, and meanwhile we translate some of it for our Farsi viewers. Today is 19th month of the Mehr 2581 and equivalent with 11th October 2022. And of course, now is equal to 24th day of the real revolution, people's revolution of Iran, till the end of this regime. What we gathered for you is from different newspapers. First, we start with the New York Times. New York Times mentioned that protests erupted in more than 80 cities. Of course, now is more than 80 cities. In all the cities, 100 and more than 100 cities across Iran following the death of Mahsa Amini, known by her first Kurdish surname, Jina. After her detention by the military police under the so-called hijab law. Footage of these demonstrations protested to everywhere, but mainly posted to the social media, has become one of the primary windows into what is happening on the ground and revealed what is different about this latest show of resistance inside Iran. Very important, mentioned, and they are showing that what is happening on the ground and revealed what is different about this latest showdown of resistance inside Iran. I'll tell you what's the difference. Was not even compare with the previous resistance and demonstrations. This one has become iconic resistance for the people of Iran and all other countries around the world. Whomever raised their fist and mentioned the name of Mahsa Amini is where the message has been landed and will be forever, will be the improving and main drive for the other people, mostly women, which even their voice in the West has been silenced. And when they find their way in government, like the US government, become even vice president of the United States, you will see who has been selected. And I remember it was at the time of Walter Mondale, candidate of the presidency, and has chosen Gianni Ferraro as vice president. Immediately, about a week or 2 weeks, I don't remember exactly, before the, announcement and speeches around the country, all of a sudden we saw in the newspapers that her son has been arrested for a certain amount of narcotic, heroin or something else. That's why, even in a Western country, female need the real voice, which we are very happy and very proud, even though with the heavy price, women in our country became frontier of the voice of the female around the world. And that gonna stay forever. You will see, and we will be witness. Amnesty International has brought the news that at least 82 Baluchi protesters, pay attention, 82. That's the language of democracy or politically being correct. I want to, give the code to our viewers that whenever you see the numbers from the medias, famous medias, easily multiply it by 3. 82 Baluchi protesters and bystanders killed in bloody crackdown. اینطور بیان میکنن که 82 نفر در این اعتصابات و تماشاگران در یک حرکت خونین کشته شدند. Iranian security forces unlawfully killed at least 66 people. Iranian security forces. نیروی ضد شورش به طور غیرقانونی 66 تا از این مردم رو کشتن، شامل including children and injured hundreds of others after firing live ammunition. After live ammunition یعنی منظورشون اینه که با گلوله های واقعی به سمت مردمی که یک اعتصاب آرام انسانی که به دنیا یاد دادن که هیچ چیزی در دست نداشتن، فقط اعتراض به 43 سال مرگ و شکنجه دارن که جرقش محض همین یک جرقش بود. She was just a spark of this uprising. And then they fired a live ammunition, metal pellets. البته metal pellets به امکان داره به ساچمه‌ای ترجمه بشه، ولی این ساچمه ها از اون ساچمه های خطرناک و بزرگتر از اندازه واقعیشه که دیدید وقتی به تن مردم اصابت میکنه. I'm just explaining for our Farsi viewers that this metal pellets in the mind of the people is with the very smaller pellet, but this one that they use, apparently they have created something bigger, metal pellets, and targets at protesters, bystanders and worshippers during the violent crackdown after Friday prayer on 30th of September in Zahedan, Sistan and Baluchistan province. داره توضیح میده امنیستی که اینها آمدن و به در نماز جمعه شروع کردن به تیراندازی در 30 سپتامبر در زاهدان، سیستان و بلوچستان و مناطق کناری. و همچنین Amnesty International said today, since then another 16 people, and I explained again, multiple by 3, were killed in the separate incident in Zahedan amid an ongoing calm down on ongoing protest. دوباره آمدن و شلیک کردن که اینجا گفته میشه 16 نفر، ولی بدونید خودتون میدونید که بیشتر از 16 نفره. برجت ادامه میده که evidence gathered from activities, victims' family, eyewitnesses, testimonies, and images and videos of the protests suggest the real death toll from Zahedan is likely to be higher. خودشون چون نمیتونن نامبر بدن، شماره بدن، اینطور بیان میکنن که دلایل گرد آمده از این حرکت که شامل فامیلی اون کسایی که بهشون تیر خورد، شاهدان عینی و تصویرهایی که رسیده و ویدیوها در پروتست داره اینطور منعکس میکنه که به طور حتم مقدار death یا همون مرگ در میان مردم بسیار بالاتر بوده در زاهدان از اونی که اینها ادعا میکنن. و اینطور ادامه میده که widely referred to by Iranian as Bloody Friday. میگه آنچنان بود که مردم از این به عنوان یک جمعه خونین واقعی یاد میکنند. و اینکه the onslaught on 30th September marked the deadliest day on record since protests started spreading across Iran nearly 3 weeks ago after Mahsa Amini died in custody following her arrest by Iranian's military police. به این ترتیب توضیح میده که این قتل عام عمومی در مسجد محل ترویج اعتقادات خودشان رو مردم شاهدان عینی و همه اینطور ازش یاد میکنن به عنوان یک جمعه خونین در 30 سپتامبر که اتفاق افتاد، که یاد میکنن ازش که این مارک شده به عنوان مرگبارترین روزی که رکورد میشه از اون زمانی که اعتصابات شروع شد و پخش شد به سراسر کشور و الان بیشتر از 4 هفته است که در خبر میگه 3 هفته چون خبر متعلق به مقدار قبله. بعد از مرگ مهسا امینی که در پلیس اخلاق یا منکرات ایشون دستگیر میکنه، یک چنین اتفاقی میفته و ازش به عنوان مرگبارترین جمعه خونین یاد میکنه. الجزیره، خبرگزاری الجزایر، اینطور عنوان میکنه تیترش: ایران organizes more counter demonstrations as protest continues. که دولت ایران داره خبر میده که پلیس ضد شورش رو داره به صحنه میاره، هرچه بیشتر میاره اعتصابات ادامه پیدا میکنه، ترس و وحشتی نداره. The protesters as more counter demonstration police is organizing to bring to the street the protester fearlessly continuing the protest. Many of the recently arrested protesters have been teenagers, according to the senior IRGC officials. بر مبنای توضیح و اعلام خود IRGC، سپاه مقدار زیادی از تظاهر کنندگان و اعتصابگران جوانان هستند. بر مبنای گزارش خودشون ادامه میده که a picture obtained by AFT outside Iran on September 21st, 2022 shows Iranian demonstrators talking to the streets of the capital Tehran during the protest for Mahsa Amini days after she died in a police custody. تصویری است که یکی از خبرگزاری‌های دنیا AFP گزارش میده که در 21 سپتامبر 2022 نشون میده که تظاهر کنندگان تمام خیابان‌ها را به اشغال خودشون در پایتخت کشور به اشغال خودشون در میارن و در زمانی که این تظاهرات با جرقه مهسا امینی شروع میشه و شخصیتی که به صورت نمادین در تمام دنیا خواهد بود، چون تنها یک دختر ایرانی نبود، یک دختر ایرانی نبود. شما وقتی که قصد مسافرت میکنید، نقشه راه دارید، همه چیز در دستتونه، مخصوصا با تکنولوژی جدید GPS در اختیارتونه، میرسید هرچه نزدیکتر به شهر میرسید تابلوهای بزرگتر و بهتری به شما راهنمایی میکنه که کجا برید. و در یک نقطه یک تابلوی نوید ورود به شهر بوده. یک تابلو. هزاران تابلو وجود داره ولی یک تابلو ناگهان نوید به فلان شهر خوش آمدید. مهسا آن تابلویی بود که بشارت داد که ما به عصر جدیدی در تفکرات زن ایرانی وارد شدیم. بیش از جرقه بود. طوفانی عظیم بود. به هر جهت در این رسانه الجزایر ادامه میده Iranian demonstrators took the street of the capital of Tehran during the protests for Mahsa Amini. حتی even after days and days that she died in the hand of the morality police. که این تظاهرات ادامه داره به گفته آقای مازیار معتمدی. Published on 5th October 2022 این اخبار رو گزارش می‌کنه. و در ادامه گزارش اینطور میگن in continuation of this report it says Tehran, Iran, another round of counter demonstrations have been organized. یک دور دیگری از ضد تظاهرات ارگانایز شده برای اینکه in support of the Iranian state as protest that formed after the death of the 22 years old Mahsa Amini که هر کاری میکنن که کنترل بکنن بعد از این جرقه‌ای که جهانی شد دیگر نمیتوانند کنترل کنند. از دستشان خارج شده because they have been it is almost a month now. When you compare the previous demonstrations has been 7 days, 8 days, maximum 10 days. But now 24th we are at the corner of the month to be marked as a month. Not just the number of the days and the month, by whom? By females. By Iranian females. In the Middle East, which is a greater message for the other female in the Middle East. That the female in Middle East has been awakened and raise their fists and never going to come down. Never. Because it started in Iran. The country that their king 4,000 years ago was Turandukht. A female. When you compare Iran, one of the Middle East country, with modern society of United States or the European, 4,000 years ago, we had the head of state as a female. It is in their blood. They're trying so hard to clean up this blood or destroy this blood. But they can't. They kill Iranian female. They bring a lot of Chinese girl for Iranian guys in order to eliminate the purity of the blood of Iranians and bring from Iraq different Arabic countries, and they encourage with the person name of Alam al-Huda that you must have a sex with them because they are from the land of Iraq, holy land of Iraq. Why don't you offer your own daughter? None of them. They send their kid to Western society, not to Russia, not to China. just accept US is their favorite. They condemn it, but it's their favorite. They send it to European, they condemn it, but their favorite. All the money funnels there for these days. For these days. Our people, our female, to be offered basically as a prostitute to the other countrymen, like a, Iraq, Yemen, Afghanistan. Afghanistan is one of ours. To destroy this purity of blood of Iranian female, which has no difference than our country. They are the indication. They are the reflection. They are the identity of our country. But they are easily, either they kill him or they offer him in order for a blood change. There continue that pro-government demonstrations in northern Tehran began in the early afternoon on Wednesday and are expected to last several hours, which now has lasted several days and going to become a month, which I think, if it goes close to the 1 or 2 or 3 days or a week to the month, the government is gone. As we receive a lot of information from the airports, that's very funny to be mentioned that they took over to the airports, standard security, normal security, and they kick him out and took over by the special security forces, and they waited for an airplane and ready to move to the air taxiing and take off. They stop the airplane and they take several passengers. Very nice, not by each other, randomly, different seat, which has been marked by the name of the passenger that already paid and passed the security point and they want to fly. They take him out and their own people that they are afraid of to stay in a country anymore, their family, they fly their family under the different names. And no one even mentioned it in the medias. They have to be mentioned. This is a crime. This is a real crime. They substitute the real passengers with their own family of the government. Anyhow, it's continues that like the 2 previous rounds of the demonstration that they're calling, they were announced via state media and mass text messengers, and were expected to condemn the recent riot and the crimes of the seditions. And it's very interesting that how, I don't know what to call them. I don't know. I can't find the terminology or the word for these people, that what they are doing, seriously, what they are doing. In Washington, Washington Post, one of the American newspaper, very famous, continues that US encourages women-driven protests in Iran. داره توضیح میده که اعتصاباتی که موتور اصلی اون به وسیله زنان شروع به حرکت کرد و هنوز ادامه داره. The daily 202 points out 10 days ago. Now, I explained to you, this is a little bit late news. Now is more than, is over 300 points. That in 10 days ago, how President Biden has gone further. آبرو جمع کنی. They are trying to help the face of the President Biden. اینجا داره میخواد مقایسه بکنه و بگه که بایدن از اوباما بهتر عمل کرد و سریعتر عمل کرد. همینطور توضیح میده President Biden has gone further, faster in supporting protests in Iran that Barack Obama did in 2009. Since then, the administration has gone further and promises even more to help demonstrators and push the regime. How? That still you are hoping to sign a treaty, nuclear treaty with them? Still you have a connection with the government, dictator government of Iran? When you do have this dialogue with them, it means you have no dialogue with the people of Iran. You couldn't believe it when the people came out. In US, in Canada, in Europe, and in everywhere. Even though you see so many people as demonstrators, still you are going silent in your own way. And still you leave them alone. And you are not supporting the way that you are supporting Ukraine. Because that is still called West. And Iran called Middle East. We are just interested in their wealth, not the people of Iran. Till this point, you never ever supported a real Iranian people. Obama let the government's family come to US with the red carpet, means with the green card, and carte blanche of whatever money that they want to bring it to the country. No question to be asked. At the same time that banks in this country has made a lot of obstacle for the other people, that they don't even have that much money in their account. It's very interesting. And the promise, and the promise is even more to help demonstrators. How? 2 words. We are beside them, we are with you. Even one promise of the free internet that Elon Musk has been talking about it all over the news, and at the end we found out that internet need the equipment in order to receive. And then they mention, oops, we can't because as a problem of doing the business. And then Biden comes and says, well, I signed a treaty that this is not include this equipment. How? The whole country is under their control. All the borders, air, land, and sea. How this equipment is going to go? Your help is very chic. Keep it to yourself. Tell the people, be successful, and overthrow your government, the government that you love, West loves, because of the profit that they gained since they get rid of Shah of Iran, the real hero, the real nationalist of Iran. Whomever become a nationalist of their country, it has a bitter taste to their mouth of West. Anyhow, so far it's saying that things seems to be moving towards the fourth month, and mentioning that the rhetorical encouragement for Iranians who took the streets after the death of Mahsa Amini, 22, in custody of the so-called military police. The authorities grabbed her for supposedly covering her hair improperly. It's very interesting. Covering her hair improperly. در میگه که پلیس در این تظاهراتی که ایجاد شده در ایران که تمام خیابان‌ها رو تحت اشغال خودش بعد از مرگ مهسا امینی 22 ساله که به وسیله پلیس میلیتری پلیس اخلاقیات یا منکرات در آمد. نکته جالب اینجاست، میگه the authorities grabbed her for supposedly covering her hair improperly. میگه که نیروهای امنیتی اونو دستگیر کردن که فرضاً چرا موهاش رو به طریق لازمه آنطور که ما تعریف میکنیم proper به طور درست و واقعی یا improper میان کلمات رو دیفینیشن ها و تعاریف بین‌المللی رو تعریفی برای خود میکنن، بعد ایدئولوژی خودشون رو خیلی فرانتیر و جلو رفته میدونن. مقنعی که تو ایران ما همه دیدیم، عکس هایی که ما از مهسا دیدیم، یک مقدار از موهاش بیرون بوده، مقدار بسیار کمی. وقتی که میکشن میگن برای not covering her hair properly. Sanction on officials and entities seen as repressing the demonstration. سانکشن های زیادی به طور رسمی مکان های مختلف به وجود آورده. Support for steps to circumvent the Islamic Republic's efforts to smother access to the internet and other communications that might help organize the protesters of spread the activity causes. و حتی آمدن و اینترنت رو، اکسس به دستیابی به اینترنت رو که اونها قطع کردن و ولی با این اوصاف میبینید که خود مردم آنطوری ارگانایز کردن اعتصاباتشون که هنوز بتونه اثرگذار روی پخش کردن اخبار پروتستشون، اخبار بعدی، اعتصابات بعدی، نقاط بعدی به مردم برسونه. و اما Human Rights Watch، دیدبان حقوق بشر، اشاره میکنه که Iran's security forces fire on kill protesters. نیروهای امنیتی ایران آتش به سمت اعتصابگران باز کردن به قصد کشت. و میگه Iran's authority have ruthlessly cracked down on widespread anti-government protesters with excessive and lethal force throughout Iran. که این از قول Human Rights Watch گفته شده که نیروهای امنیتی و دولتی به طرز بد و حیوانی به سمت اعتصابگران ضد دولتی حمله میکنه و with excessive با فشاری بسیار زیاد lethal force نیروی کشنده به سمت اونها حرکت میکنه و شلیک میکنه و اونها رو به قتل میرسونه. خب آقای هیومن رایت، دیدبان‌های هیومن رایت، من تعجبم اینجاست که چرا یک نفر با یک کارد حمله میکنه در دبیرستانی تمام اخبار اینجا رو تحت تاثیر خودش قرار میده. هزاران 43 سال کشته شدن. فقط میگویم ما در کنار شما هستیم. باشد. فردا ما در کنار شما خواهیم بود. فرداهایی هم وجود داره. و it continues that based on the videos of protests and interviews with the witness and the security force members, Human Rights Watch documented numerous incidents of security forces unlawfully using excessive or lethal force against protesters in more than, در گزارش in this report it says 13 cities, but now it's a lot more across the Iran. بر مبنای ویدیوهایی که رسیده از مردم نشون میده که پروتست ها در اینترویو مصاحبه‌ای که انجام شده از شاهدان که سکیوریتی فورس و طرفداران آنها و همچنین بر مبنای مدارک مستند هیومن رایتس واچ که هم دیدبان حقوق بشر numerous incident اتفاقات بسیار زیادی رو سکیوریتی فورس unlawfully نشون میده که تمام این مدارک بالایی گفت نشون میده که سکیوریتی فورس ها نیروی سپاه بسیج با فشار وحشتناک با در دست داشتن اسلحه‌های خطرناک و کشتار دست جمعی بر علیه اعتصابگران در شهرهای زیادی در تمام ایران داره نشون میده. چی رو پنهان میکنید؟ و همچنین ادامه میده که این ویدیوها نشانگر شقاوت آنها در از بین بردن حتی انسانهایی که حتی سلاحی نداره یک اعتصاب آرام و صلح‌آمیز رو با انواع اسلحه‌های عجیب و غریب با نیروهای داخلی و خارجی که وارد کردن به سمت مردم ایران حمله میکنن و اونها رو به قتل میرسونن. وقتی که این ویدیو رو میبینید که باورتون نمیشه، نه باور من، باور ایرانیان دیگر هم نمیشه. طرفو با تیر زده انداخته زمین، با چکمه داره میکوبه تو صورتش. چیزی شبیه نازی ها بر علیه کلیمی ها که ادامه میده تعداد زیادی رو کشتن و زخمی کردن و توضیح نمیده که اینجا مشکل اینا نیست که اینا که زخمی میشن رو به مرگن، مثل مهسا امینی میبرن پرتش میکنن جلوی بیمارستان. کسایی که در لحظات بسیار حساس از لحاظ زمانی باید بهشون رسیدگی بشه هرگز انجام نمیدن. And I should explain that when it says killing this number of the people and injured hundreds, and the Western media, they never concern about these two words, injured hundreds. What happened to them? Where is the human rights? what's going to happen to them? But they don't let them to come to the hospital. They don't take care of them. And when they go there, they come to the hospital and they hunt them. They grab them like a piece of meat. They throw them in the ambulance that's supposed to bring the patient to the hospital as fast as possible, even in the war situation. But even they're using the ambulance improper way, which no countries I remember that has been misused the ambulance and the mission of the ambulance. And even whomever that helping them against this brutal police will kill the people, even when they are running away. The Iranian authorities' brutal response to protests across many cities indicates concerned action by the government to crush dissent with a cruel disregards for life. This is a report from پری, foreign Iran researcher at Human Rights Watch. این مستنداتی است که ما داریم خدمتتون ارائه میدیم که خانم پری مسئول میز خارجی و تحقیقات دیدبان‌های حقوق بشر که یک چنین حمله وحشیانه‌ای رو به اعتصابگران across many cities در تمام شهرها که چطور دولت، نیروهای دولتی به طرز وحشیانه‌ای به اعتصابگران صلح‌آمیز که به طرز صلح‌آمیزی در خیابان‌ها میان و اعتراض سال خودشونو اون هم با جلو بودن بانوان و میبینیم که هیچ فرق و هیچ احترامی به خواهران و مادران خودشون ندارن. چطور وحشیانه با باتوم‌ها ابتدا میزنن و بعد با گلوله. و اخبار زیادی است ولی متاسفانه به پایان برنامه میرسیم و we have so many more news, but we are at the end of our this session, and definitely we're going to have more news with the English language and other languages in this TV. And I thank you so much that you have been staying with us, and please, with the sharing of this information to your English language friends and acquaintances, help the people to the street, that they understand what is going on and what is happening, even though the top news agency, they don't report properly, even to the end. But with spreading this, with sharing this, instead of looking at the nonsense news in Instagram and TikTok comedy news, help to spread the real news. Thank you, and God bless you all.